What's going on? A lot of y'all have been asking me to talk more about David Pakman with his smug ass. He just sitting there. He just, as soon as you see him, just smug. Anyway, right, apparently he got torched by Vivek Ramaswamy. Let's check this out. I rock with Vivek. I think that he's super dope, right? And he definitely speaks well. So let's see what he had to say.
With the viscosity of sanctimony as you ask this question.
No, that's an ad hominem, Vivek. That's unfair. I think you don't want to answer the question. That's to attack.
Vivek Ramaswamy shuts down David Pakman on the David Pakman show as Soy Boy David Pakman.
Let me shout out, because you know I'm not greedy, right? Let me shout out the content creator, the Apostle, right? He has a lot of great content, right? I highly recommend it. Go and check it out.
Man tries to go.
A lot of people that react, they never want to tell you who they reacting to. I think that's such a bozo, corny thing. Yeah, right. I don't think like that.
Vivek Ramaswamy into accepting his narrative of the deep state, and Vivek Ramaswamy turns it around on David Pakman to expose the real machine that is crushing the lives of Americans as we speak. So let's jump in, folks.
I mean, really, I think that there's a managerial machine that decides who's going to be churned out. It's not one person, it's a system. And I think it goes back to the way the government's run. I think the people who we elect to run the government are not the ones running the government. I don't think Joe Biden is really making most of the policy decisions that come out of the executive branch of the government.
Speak on it. People are afraid to say that. Puppeteers. Obama was a mascot. I said it.
I really don't.
But give an example of someone who's making the decisions. I know you can't, it's not one person, but there must be a group.
It's not one person. Well, I'm resisting the premise, David. It is a machine. That is the Leviathan. I mean,
who runs the machine?
This is the apparatus. It's the wrong frame. That's the whole point.
Who built the machine?
Well, I think it's been built over the years from decades of purposeful loss of accountability.
Facts.
I think it was built by people who were elected into office that did not want to actually bear the accountability for their actions. And so quietly devolved power, first from Congress to three-letter agencies, from three-letter agencies to a managerial class that pervades the public and private sector alike. You don't have to take it from, what you will see as a, crazy Republican candidate, far right or whatever you want to label me on your show. Michael Lind has written about this in a lucid manner. I think that there's a horizontal managerial class that pervades the public, private, and intermediate sectors in the United States that's wielding the decisions.
I just think it would put a lot of texture to it if you were able to say, Hillary's
Susan
in the
Rice,
class, or Susan.
It's as if he didn't even hear a single word. That was like one of the most elegant breakdowns of it. And this dude just in one ear and out the other, just so he could say his little woke rebuttal.
Rice.
I see why you guys wanted me to react to this loser now.
You can give examples of the people
Nancy Pelosi's husband or Ellen DeGeneres
but that's not my view, and I understand the way the game is played to then.
It's not a game. I'm just curious who it is.
But it's fine. I understand it. I'm having fun with it.
No, but it's not a game. There must be some people.
David, and I don't say this in an ill-spirited way.
I'll say it. You, David Pakman. Whether you acknowledge it or aware of it or not, you're in that list.
I'll just get into the truth of it. You are like dripping with the viscosity of sanctimony as you ask this question.
No, that's an ad hominem, Vivek. That's unfair. I think you don't want to answer the question. To attack me, it's an obvious question. If there's a machine and a managerial class, someone must be involved. There must be someone.
That's your assertion, David. And I think that my whole premise is that I think this is true in both parties, but it's particularly true in the modern Democratic Party. I don't think Joe Biden has a choice in the matter of whether he's the nominee or not.
I can't tell if David Pakman is trying to be coy or he's just plain dumb. I really don't know. But Vivek Ramaswamy is right. Like it's the wrong framing. Personally, I think this is the result of corruption. This is what happens when you have too many people with too much power who simply become immoral. They don't care. They don't care about the consequences of their actions. They don't care about their greed. They don't care what happens to anyone else. and everyone for themselves, whether it be narcissistic reasons or whatever, just pulls at everything, and all the ordinary people in the middle just get caught in it.
Right.
And everyone's
They
making
suffer.
wrong decisions for the wrong reasons about the wrong thing, and no one really cares. And you need moral people to stand up and say, no, this is wrong.
Right.
We got to do this. We got to do this. Like, you know,
I ain't going front. He's cooking right now. He's 100% cooking. Yeah. Right? But then people like David Pakman are not going to be able to see that. Right? They're not going to be able to understand. They're not going to be able to grasp that concept. It's crazy.
why is anyone focusing on trying to give gender reassignment surgery to violent criminals in prison? Like, we have so many other massive problems going on. Why is...
I have no hate or disdain for the alphabet community or any community at that matter. People be so upset that I say that. I don't care. Chill, bitch ass. How dare you clarify that you don't hate people? Shut up.
Is this an issue? Doesn't make any sense. But yeah, that's a real thing. And I don't believe David Pakman is really being genuine, because he hardly ever is. I mean, viscous, sanctimonious. You know what? That's actually a good way to put it. Let me know in the comments what you think about that, and leave a like if you're enjoying. Let's get back in.
You can keep repeating that, and you can do ad hominems, but you're not really answering.
David, and for you to sort of now claim victim and claim ad hominem.
Right.
No, I'm not a victim. I'm fine. I'm a big boy. I'm a big boy.
Nah,
I'm a big boy. Of course you are. So I'm treating you like one. And so I think the viscosity of the questioning is basically resisting.
He's really sitting here smug as hell, playing victim. Like, it's just weird, man. I really don't like this guy. And it seems like, not even seems like, Vivek was not being disrespectful in any way, shape, or form.
The premise of the core point that I'm sharing with you, which is that it is not one puppet master that's an individual.
I agree.
It is a managerial machine that in the Democratic Party and the Democratic establishment, and I think it exists in the Republican establishment too, is designed to crush the will of everyday citizens and to decide that this is who will be served. Up to you to digest. You're force-fed who you get. I think this is why the Biden documents case. Why don't you hear much about that right now? Why don't you, the open-ended investigation of Hunter Biden? I think these are levers that if Joe Biden tries to act like an agent and say when their time of deciding that he's not the nominee, well, I think that's when you're going to see those investigations then pick up steam to say that, well, you're not getting out of the way. We're going to get you out of the way. I think that is the Leviathan. It is not an individual. It's not individual action. It is collective.
But I'm not claiming it's an individual. I mean, listen, I think ultimately the audience can evaluate. When I say, give me anyone, and you say my questions when you say my questions are viscous.
One of hundreds of people, the Susan Rices of the world, sure, fit that machine, but it's not one puppet master.
People like Susan Rice.
Yes.
People like Susan Rice.
People of that class, absolutely.
That's an answer. That could have been the first thing. I mean, I don't know why my questions are...
Yo, David Pakman is embarrassing himself right now. This sounds and looks crazy. Like, yo, what's wrong with this guy? Like, what was the point of you doing all of that?
But I've played this game enough to know to say that, Vivek thinks Susan Rice is the puppet master. But
no, I'm not saying that.
Person.
I have no interest in saying that you said that. I just wanted to I just was like, what sorts of people are you thinking about?
There you go, an answer. There you go.
Whatever games others might play, I'm certainly not playing with you. I'm just curious who you're referring to, and people can judge it,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people have an innate understanding that the people who are the politicians pretending to make those decisions, they're not really the ones making those decisions today. And I think the more clearly we see that, the more clearly we understand the work we have cut out ahead of us to reform a broken system. I'll give you other examples too while we're at it. See, now that you sort of clarified where you are on which premise you're asking about, I think the donor class is part of this as well. I think there's a lot of people who in the Democratic Party, you're told that the Democratic Party stands for one person, one vote.
Right.
Well, I don't think so. Not so clearly. I think that the people who are writing multi-million-dollar checks, even though they say you can only give $3,300 to Joe Biden,
right?
Why is he flying to Greenwich, Connecticut for $25,000 or $50,000 a plate dinners?
And this applies to Harlan Crow and the Koch brothers too, right?
I think it pervades both parties.
Okay, just making sure.
I've been as critical about this in the Republic, but you asked a question about
it. You keep trying to like trap him, trying to make him seem like he's some form of hypocrite. And Vivek is not, bro. Like, that's why David is looking really bad right now.
Democratic Party.
Yeah.
I'm against the influence of mega money in politics, period. But
I'm with
this is when you get to the reality of what that machine looks like. These are inputs into that machine. People who have lived in high levels, but not politically accountable levels of the administrative state that still have, you know, the dirty secrets that they're able to use as levers for the people who actually are in power, to the mega donor class that provides the mother's milk that is modern politics in both parties. Yes, I think that is all part of the machine that decides who and who isn't part of eligible to wield power.
I do think that's a good way to phrase it from Vivek Ramaswamy. Like this is a collection of people, a machine that's existed for a very long time. And now with the advent of Donald Trump, like they overplayed their hand enough to the point that you could really see it. Like when at the moment that you're just making up news, making up stories so blatantly that anybody can see, like it's just an absolute lie, but yet everyone's going along with it. Like you really start to get an idea how vast and how big this thing is. And you can, I don't know what it is. You can call it the WEF. You can call it the Illuminati. I don't have a name for it.
WWF.
Whatever.
You say you can call it WWF.
It is.
That's funny.
It's un-American and it doesn't help anything for the average American citizen. But let me know what you thought about what.
Hey man, this was a great video. It definitely gave me a lot to receive. You know what I mean? Especially when it came to punk ass David. You know, it sounded crazy. So I know. If I didn't know before what a clown he was, I know now. Tell me what you think down in the comment section if you like. Hit the like button, share the video as well.